Hello, YouTubers, and welcome to my second video or third video. Basically, today I'm going to give a little bit of an intro to mindfulness and meditation. And I believe they're hand in hand, they go together. You can't do one without it. I mean, you can, but it's easier to do mindfulness if you meditate on a somewhat regular basis. I've heard people say that you should meditate every day. That'd be awesome. It's only 10 minutes a day. I hear people say that, well, I myself recommend meditating at least 3 to 4 times a week for 10 minutes a day. It's a whole lot better than what they say about cardio, which actually they're starting to say cardio doesn't even help you as much as they used to say. I mean, it's good for you, but they would be like, okay, do cardio for 30 minutes a day. No, do it for 45. No, you have to do it for an hour in order for it to help. No, you have to do it for an hour and a half. It just kept getting higher and higher. And then now they're saying, if you're trying to lose weight, cardio is not going to do it. Of course, not alone. Exercise is always good for you. Exercise is actually good for anxiety, depression, all kinds of stuff, but you can overdo it too. Everything's in balance, kind of like what they teach in dialectical behavioral therapy, which I'm going to have a video on later, which is, pretty in-depth. It's another variation, more in-depth variation of cognitive behavioral therapy that I have a video on as well. So anyway, how I teach mindfulness is, number one, using the 5 senses of mindfulness. So I'll have people in my office, I'll be like, look around the room and, tell me 5 things that you see. So they'll name 5 things they see: the chair, the desk, the lamp, the whatever. And usually it's non-judgmental, because we're very judgmental. I can remember being at the laundromat one time because I was having a problem with my washer, and so we put a whole lot of clothes to dry in one of them big old dryers, and this nice old lady, she was like, well, what happened was that somehow the door opened up, and she was like, oh, you overloaded that thing, so the door open, the dryers, so the door opened up. And I was like thinking to myself, well, it probably just wasn't closed all the way. I don't think it would open because of too many clothes. But she was a nice old lady, and she actually apologized at one point because it opened a couple more times, and she let us know about it. But I did notice that, from doing mindfulness, that her statement was judgmental, whether she realized it or not. So that's a big important part in mindfulness, is to not be judgmental in our observations. And so step number one is you identify 5 things you could see. We go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Step number 2 is to identify 4 things you can feel. And so it could be like the chair you're sitting in, your shoes on your feet, the clothes you're wearing, whatever. It could be holding a cell phone, whatever you feel actually at that moment. And, we're going through the 5 senses, by the way, backing up a little bit. A lot of times people remember from school like the 4 of the 5 senses, but sometimes I've had that issue too. Like, I always forget the last one. you know so of course it's sight, smell, taste, hear, and touch. And so we're going through the 5 senses. So 5 things you can see, 4 things you can feel, 3 things you can see, right? Well, no, we already did see. 3 things you can hear. So listen quietly, and what are the 3 things you can hear? And then you're like, oh, I hear the train, or I hear the birds singing outside, or I hear the cars going by, whatever it might be. So 5 things you can see, 4 things you can feel, 3 things you can hear, and then 2 things you can smell. So you think about, okay, what am I smelling? Like, do I have candles going? Do I have whatever? And then you do 1 thing that you can taste. And if you haven't, eaten anything recently, or you don't have a drink in front of you or whatever, just think about the last thing that you tasted. And I actually did this exercise with an individual who didn't like tangerines. Like, oh no, I don't like tangerines. And I said, well, you don't have to eat it. We're just gonna do like the 5 senses of a tangerine, like, okay, you have the tangerine in your hand, you can see that it's orange and it's got little dimples on it, and it's got like a peel on it, and you can peel it open and things. And so that's the next step, is the feeling. You can feel as you peel open the peel, and it's got different textures and things. And then once you open it, you can smell it, right? The orange will start smelling, and actually I skipped the hearing, but as you're peeling it, you can hear the skin peeling, and of course right away the smell. and the individual actually tasted it and was like, hey, this is actually pretty good. And so by doing the five senses of mindfulness, they found out that they actually liked the tangerine that they didn't think they liked. um, so that was kind of neat. So that's the five senses of mindfulness. Now mindfulness can be done anytime, anywhere, when you're walking through a park, when you're walking down the street, driving in your car. All it is observing the things around you. um, they actually put it down to one sentence, and basically they said that mindfulness is like stopping and smelling the roses. And if you've heard that saying before, that's, just enjoying life. That's why life is called present, because it's a gift to us. As I heard the wise turtle from the Kung Fu Panda movie say once, it was kind of funny. So it's true though. Being able to smell the roses, being able to enjoy life from day to day, like even the scenery behind me, being able to like see the palm trees sway, the ocean coming in. You can almost imagine the smells and the sounds and the taste as you're drinking some sweet tea on the beach or whatever. um, so you're using all of your senses to relax and not be stressed out, and enjoying the moment, enjoying life in general. That is what's called the pursuit of happiness, being able to go after happiness and to find it. And so I talk about that in the cognitive behavioral therapy video, where CBT is about the pursuit of happiness, being able to be happy by changing our thinking and doing things differently. And so with mindfulness, it's pretty similar, being able to just focus on the positive things going on around you and being thankful for all you have instead of focusing on what you don't have. And so meditation is, I basically break it down to a 3-step thing. I teach relaxation breathing is step number 1. So you take a deep inhale through your nose, hold it for 3 to 5 seconds, and then repeat that 3 times. Take another deep breath, hold it for 3 to 5 seconds, and the key is to exhale all of the air out of your lungs. And actually, what triggers what they call the vagus nerve is the holding of the breath and then exhaling all of the air. I used to think the most important part was breathing in the air, when it's important, but the least important part. So the third time, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and making sure all of the air is out. An illustration I often use is like, I can remember going swimming and I would do something called the bobber when I was a kid. And if you had air in your lungs, you could literally float up and down like a bobber on top of the water. But as soon as you exhaled all the air out, you would start sinking. It was actually a cool feeling. The water like start rushing past your face, and then you gently land on the bottom of the pool. And then eventually you have to come up for air. But it was just cool. And it was kind of relaxing. And I didn't find out until later in life that is something that triggers the vagus nerve, is holding the breath and exhaling the air out. And so that's step 1 of meditation, is the breathing. Do 3 relaxation breaths, as I call them. And then the next step is, of course, I skipped the first part, that is being, sitting in a relaxing position. But I've heard people like say you have to sit upright in a relaxing position. I've done meditation laying kicked back on a recliner, whatever is comfortable for you. And so you do the relaxation breathing, all this is with your eyes closed. And step number 2, as I call it, is you start to focus on your breathing, and you don't think about anything except for your breathing. So you have your eyes closed and it's just like, breathe in, breathe out, just breathe normally. And that's step number 2. Step number 3 is one of the most important steps, and that is whenever you find yourself thinking about anything else besides your breathing, like the 1,000 or million different things that start to go through your mind, your racing thoughts, as they call them, you take note of that, and then you go back to your thinking about breathing. And many people give up because they're just like, oh, I just keep on, thinking about a million different things, and so I'm failing. When actually, when you do that, when you notice that you've drifted and that you've started to think about a million different things, you're actually doing what they call brain reps. The brain is like a muscle. And so every time you exercise it, it's getting stronger. So you can train your brain, as I say, and you can be able to uh, be better at focusing on and thinking about what you want to think about. And so return to your thinking about breathing, and then you'll think about something else again. Repeat, return to your do this for 10 minutes, and you've done your exercise for your brain for the day. And believe me, it makes you so much better at being able to think about those positive thoughts and be able to focus on the good things. And therefore, like I said, it takes you back to making it easier to do mindfulness. I don't get any money or anything. I actually had a client tell me about an app called the Calm app. Maybe someday they'll give me some funding or I'll do some advertisement for them, but I've seen the advertisement on TV. But the Calm app, of course, it has purchases on there that you can buy, but they have something called the 7 days of calm. It's kind of like hidden in their app now, but if you search for it, 7 days of calm, the lady actually does a really good job at teaching mindfulness and meditation. And if you do the 7 days and it's 10 minutes a day, you don't have to do it for 7 days in a row. You can do it like one day and then another day, and then it take you 14 days and you get through it. I actually went through it and started going through it again. And so, like I said, it's a really good job of teaching mindfulness and meditation, and it was free. Hopefully it still is. I've seen seminars that goes as expensive as $1,500. The one guy was like, come to my seminar, I have all these different speakers and I could charge 10,000, but I'm only going to charge 1,500. And I was like, wow, um, that's a lot. So you don't really have to pay $1,500. Not anything against him. Maybe he's got some good content. I can't review it because I never actually bought it. But I'm just saying there's cheaper ways of learning mindfulness and meditation, kind of like watching this video. So yeah, the Calm app is pretty cool. CALM, Calm. I believe it's got like a blue background to it if you're looking for it in the app stores. So that's the intro to mindfulness and meditation. There's lots of stuff out there for this, very good things. So hopefully you'll find some other help as well. Thank you for your time. And as I say, like and subscribe if you do like the video. Thank you.